Have you ever wondered if mankind truly made that giant leap and landed on the moon? Today, we're diving into the swirling vortex of theories and arguments that have led some to question the authenticity of the moon landings. Picture this: July 20th, 1969. Apollo 11 allegedly lands on the moon. But over the years, skeptics have pointed out a few anomalies that have fueled the fires of conspiracy. One of the most hotly contested points is the strange lighting and shadow patterns in the moon landing photos. Then there's the glaring absence of stars in the photographs. It's a cosmic blackout that has left many scratching their heads. And let's not forget the fluttering American flag. On the airless lunar surface, how could a flag flutter as if caught in a breeze? These discrepancies have led some to wonder: was the moon landing a grand spectacle, a carefully crafted illusion? So could it all have been an elaborate hoax? One of the primary pieces of evidence cited by skeptics is the lighting and shadows in the moon landing photographs. It's a point of contention that's been debated for decades, and it's time we shed some light on it. The heart of the matter lies in understanding the behavior of light and shadows on the lunar surface. Under normal circumstances, with a single light source, shadows should run parallel to each other. But in the photographs taken during the Apollo moon landings, we see shadows that appear to diverge or bend. This, skeptics argue, is a telltale sign of multiple light sources, not something you'd expect on the moon, where the sun should be the only source of light. Some critics go even further, pointing out that the astronauts are brightly lit, even when they're in the shadow of the lunar module. How could that be, they ask? Unless there were additional artificial lights illuminating the scene? It's an intriguing question, and one that stirred up more than its fair share of controversy. But let's not forget about the peculiar brightness of the lunar surface itself. The moon's surface, made up of tiny glass beads, has a unique ability to scatter sunlight in all directions. This phenomenon, known as Heiligenschein, could be the reason why astronauts appear illuminated even in shadows. But skeptics aren't convinced. They insist that the brightness we see is more consistent with the diffuse glow of studio lighting than with the harsh, direct light of the sun. And then there's the issue of the shadow's length and direction. Some skeptics argue that the shadows in the moon landing photographs are inconsistent, suggesting manipulation or additional light sources. But again, the uneven lunar terrain could easily distort shadows, making them appear longer or shorter, or even make them bend. So what's the verdict? Are these lighting anomalies the result of lunar physics, or could they be evidence of a more earthbound explanation? Could studio lighting have been responsible for these anomalies? These are the questions that continue to fuel this enduring debate. Another point of contention is the conspicuous absence of stars in the moon landing photographs. This has long served as a rallying point for skeptics, who maintain that the moon landing was nothing more than an elaborately staged hoax. They argue, why are there no stars visible in the photographs if they were taken on the moon? Surely, they assert, the absence of stars is a clear indication that the moon landing was staged in a studio where it would be nearly impossible to replicate the vast expanse of the starry cosmos. This argument, while compelling at first glance, has been met with a fair share of criticism and rebuttal. Some suggest that the camera settings used to capture the lunar surface simply weren't sensitive enough to pick up the faint light of distant stars. So were the stars simply edited out, or is there a more plausible explanation? Perhaps one of the most iconic images from the moon landing is that of the American flag, seemingly fluttering in the windless vacuum of space. Now, let's dive deep into one of the most debated aspects of the moon landing: the fluttering flag. The flag, with its stars and stripes, appears to wave and ripple in the photographs and videos from the moon. This has led some skeptics to question, how is this possible? After all, there's no wind on the moon to cause the flag to flutter. The skeptics argue that the movement of the flag is a telltale sign of the presence of wind. They suggest that this could only be possible on Earth, hence sparking the theory that the moon landing could have been staged. But let's take a moment to understand the science behind this phenomenon. The moon, unlike Earth, doesn't have an atmosphere. This means it's essentially a vacuum with no air to carry sound or cause wind. So the flag fluttering due to wind is scientifically impossible. Then why does the flag appear to flutter? The answer lies in the design of the flag itself. The Apollo astronauts didn't just stick a regular flagpole into the moon's surface. The flag used during the moon landing had a horizontal rod along the top edge to hold the flag out for clear visibility. When the astronauts were setting up the flag, they rotated it back and forth to better penetrate the moon's soil. This created a ripple effect, giving the illusion of a fluttering flag. Furthermore, without air resistance to slow it down, once set in motion, the flag would continue to ripple until the energy originally put into it was used up. The apparent movement of the flag was just inertia playing its part in the moon's low-gravity environment. So, was the flag really fluttering, or was it just a trick of the eye? The evidence seems to lean towards the latter, pointing to a combination of unique design and lunar physics. But as with all theories, the debate continues. From lighting anomalies to missing stars and a fluttering flag, there certainly seem to be some intriguing questions surrounding the moon landing. Over the past several minutes, we've explored these puzzling aspects, each one providing a new layer to the enigma that is the moon landing. Remember, the aim here isn't to convince you one way or the other, but rather to present the pieces of the puzzle that have led many to question the narrative. The inconsistencies in lighting, the puzzling absence of stars, the flag's peculiar movement, all these elements have stirred the pot of speculation and continue to do so. It's up to you to delve deeper, to scrutinize the evidence, and to form your own conclusions. After all, the pursuit of truth is a journey, not a destination. Whether you believe the moon landing was a monumental achievement or an elaborate hoax, one thing is certain: it's a topic that continues to captivate us, even after more than half a century.